Reef DVM's coming at you with a review of the 673 tiller. That's a 73-inch, rotary tiller that's made by John Deere. Weighs about 670 pounds. I think its overall length is 80 inches. It's a Category 1 3-point, which goes up to at least 50 horses. It digs about 7 inches into the ground. Has 54 tines on it. 9 flanges, and has a rotor speed of about 264 RPMs. I think the rotary diameter is about 16 inches off the PTO too, which is great. There's some things I really like about this tiller. That's why I wanted to review it. Certainly one of them is the strength. I love the steel on this tiller. I've owned king cutters. The minute they start hitting rocks, they dent up all the top bar and pieces on it just because the steel's too light. I also like that these things don't necessarily clean themselves, but they do break off a lot of crap as they go around, and I like that. The tines are nice and tight. They're close together. It gives a good pulverization when it's in the ground, and it's got the adjustable shoes on each side, so you can lessen it if you don't want to go in the ground all 7 inches. I like that. It's also fairly quiet. It's not a clunky, rattly piece of equipment, and it has auto hitch and eye match capability, which is fantastic. There's nothing like buying a piece of equipment that doesn't fit what you want. I think this beast is really nice and beastie. I'm going to be doing it on the 4066R. I've already done a review on that tractor, but you'll get to see it here in action. I'm going to put it about, 500 RPMs for tilling, and I'm going to break this little guy in. So this 4066R, this is about probably the biggest tractor you'd want to put on this 673 tiller, only because of the width. Beyond that, the 5 Series tractors are going to be wider than the tiller, and they're going to leave you tire marks, and that's not what you want. The 4066R here has the 3-point with a piston on the top of the 3-point, so I can actually angle the tiller a little bit. I actually like that. It allows me to get a little bit more bite into the ground. It helps keep that tiller down. Now, obviously, with the 48-inch tillers, the 54-inch tiller, the 65-inch tiller, that is really useful because those tillers are light, and if they hit real tough clay ground, they tend to want to bounce up. Not a problem on the 673. This tiller, again, weighing in around that 670-pound mark, it's got enough weight, it wants to stay in the ground, which is fantastic. John Deere definitely built this one beefy. I like these tillers a lot more than the Frontier tillers. These things there's no comparison to them to the King Cutter series. They don't dent. They just take a beating. They've got really nice, good chains. They've got a good stand on them. It's basically 2 silver square tubing rods, and they've got multiple holes in them. So when you set this down, depending upon your tractor's pitch, as to how you hook it up, you can just set it down, go back there, pull each leg, it's pin free. They slide down to the ground, find the closest hole and pop them in, and then it makes hookup a breeze too. So I really like that. There's no just one single leg and hope you don't tip it over, or you got to get it in that sweet spot to set it down. So that to me is a nice part of this too. Another thing that I actually really appreciate with this guy is where the gearbox is. It's shielded right behind the PTO. It's dead in the center. It's got easy access to check its oil. It's got easy access to drain it. I think that's just fantastic. And of course, the drive mechanism on it is in good spot too. It's on the sides, and it's housed very nicely, and it's bolted about every 1.5 inches, not just like 4 bolts, and let's hope the seal holds. Okay. It's very nice and strong. Each of the tines on this machine, I believe there's 54 of them, if I remember correctly. Each of the tines has several strong bolts all the way through it, and they're kept in place by a plate, which is excellent. The flanges, like I said, there are 9 of them. So you have 9 of these things going across with the 54. It really beats up the ground really nicely. I think about the smallest horsepower you could put on the 673 would probably be around 30 horses. So the 1 Series tractor would struggle with this, but again, they make smaller ones. They got the 665, I believe in the Frontier series, they make some even as small as 48 inches. But this is the John Deere series, and this is the 673, and we're doing a food plot. I'm not going to talk much about the food plot, folks. I'm going to put that out on another video here at the same time if you want to see it work in the food plot. You'll notice, though, that as I'm doing this food plot, I'm not racing this tractor. I've got it in B. I've got its RPMs on the 4066R set at, I don't know, about 500 RPMs. And I'm just taking it slow in A, and I'm just, letting the machine do the work. I've seen people that get behind these tillers, and it's like they're on a race to get these things done, and then they got to go over it 3 or 4 times. I am going to go over this twice. Don't get me wrong. I want it nice and fluffy and powdery here. I get that. But if you just take your time and go slow, it does a really nice job the first time, and the second time is just, just powder at that point. So for me, this is a great tiller to have. I do like it. It fits really well on the 4066R. Matter of fact, this would fit well on any of the 3 series and probably any of the 4 series. Like I said, I don't think it would work well with the 5 series. I think your tires would be too wide for it. But it's definitely a beastie machine, and it gets it done. When you're done here, you can see the difference between the undone side and the done side, and that's only one pass. This is what it looks like underneath. Again, there's a lot of vegetation that I'm going through here, and it looks a little dirty, but you can see the structure, how many bolts are in those flanges holding those 54 tines on. And it does clean up. It takes a little bit of work to get this cleaned up. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful that, we've got pressure washers and we can get things cleaned up. But it does clean up pretty nicely. I don't always clean the machine. If it's dry enough dirt, I would just probably leave it and let it just bust off. But for the sake of the video, I wanted to see how long it took to clean. I wanted to clean it up for a final shot here. And it does. It looks good even after the fact. This is quite a machine, folks. I think you'd really enjoy a tiller like this if you got one. I know I'm going to use it and enjoy it. Thanks for liking. Please watch and subscribe to more of our videos, and we'll keep them coming like this. Thanks.